Hey guys, it's Krishanti with Krishanti.com talking about psychic development and spiritual and personal growth. And what I wanted to cover today that I thought was a kind of interesting topic and something that I have been working with more in my day-to-day life and encouraging clients to do as well is practicing mindfulness and being fully engaged in the present moment. Not paying attention to or riding the waves of like the monkey mind chatter that is so easy to get swept up in, and just focusing on like the task at hand. Now, as you may or may not already know, I learned how to be psychic and intuitive, and I know for a fact that we all can. It is simply a different way of using our brain capacity. And what is brilliant and wonderful about doing a clairvoyant reading or energy healing with another person is that no matter what's going on in your life and what kind of dramas are unfolding all around you, when you sit down into reading mode, you tune all of that out and you focus solely and specifically on the person that you're with. And there have been times in my life where it's been a relief to not have to think about myself and actually completely put it all on the other person. In fact, a lot of people say that that's part of why clairvoyant healings are so powerful and so healing, because it's one of the few instances in life where you can sit with someone and they will see your spirit, honor your spirit and your soul, and only focus on you, nothing else but you and your spirit and your soul for the entire time that you're in the session. Because that happens so infrequently in life, it is a very therapeutic and healing process for people to actually be in that energy and to feel it. So the thing about the clairvoyant thing, so it's the meditation, the focus, and if you're not focusing, you're not doing a good job. If you're thinking about other things, or you're telling stories about yourself, or you're thinking about yourself, you've slipped out of psychic mode and you're going into the regular mode. But when you stop that mind chatter just in your day-to-day life, and you realize that some of your thoughts are wholly unproductive and they're not getting you anywhere, and you give yourself permission to only do what you're doing, you can do that much better than if you're doing it while thinking about something else. Now, what's interesting about these times is that we are taught that multitasking is a must, and we do believe that unless we are engaged in many things at once, we might not be as productive as we could be if we allowed ourselves to tune everything out and only do just what we're doing. And that's why mindfulness can seem like tricky. I mean, from personal experience, I have the feeling like if I'm not thinking about something or I don't remember something, that's bad. I'm a mom and I have a lot to, all of us parents, we have a lot to think about with our kids and what they're doing, their school. And I'm sure any moment of any day, like hundreds of thoughts are flooding through about this, that, and the other for all of us. But if we can give ourselves permission to scale back and just start out even by like doing it at certain points of the day, just noticing when our thoughts are like starting to go kind of crazy, or we're just stuck on a hamster wheel of a thought that keeps thinking itself over and over, to pull back and say, okay, I know this thought isn't getting me anywhere. There's no use really like chewing it over in my mind. What I'm going to do is just put that down and just bring all of my attention to exactly what I'm doing right now. Whether that's, as was the case for me yesterday, applying mascara, which was funny. I was having these thoughts, and there's just a lot. It's been a busy week, and there's a lot going on. And I was thinking, but they weren't like productive thoughts. It was just like thoughts. And I was doing this mascara, and then I said, okay, well, let me try the mindful thing. So I have this lash volumizer. I really love like makeup and stuff. It's fun. And it says this lash volumizer. So I just, at that moment, I'm like, okay, I'm just putting this on my lashes and like marveling at it. And you can really get absorbed in the task. I know sounds really shallow, and it might be like that's the silliest thing, but for that moment, for those 30 seconds to a minute, all I was doing that. And I actually felt like space opened up a little bit. Those thoughts went away. I was only doing that, and it was interesting to just only focus on that and think about it. I can't say anything marvelous came from it other than it was a relief from those thoughts, and it was interesting to me that I could really just only focus on this one thing. But another perhaps more productive example to give you is of when you are practicing yoga or you're exercising, you're lifting weights. And when you are working on training your body and you think only about the positions that you're holding, only about what you're doing, only about the way your body feels as as you like, I'm so like not good with the words, like as you like lift a weight or whatever that is, like you feel your muscle and you just think about that and you put all of your attention on that. Your body feels it and reacts to it, versus you go in there and you're like watching the news, like looking at everybody around, and then you go home and your body's like meh, because your attention was like on everything else, versus like only focusing on that. It's the same thing as when you're like in a reading and you're only focusing on that person. Your energy really all does go there. That's another thing I just want to bring up here. I hope I'm not rambling too much, but it's like, I'm going to sound dumb saying this too, but because I'm not really a scientific person at all. But there's a thing about quantum theory where a particle, when observed, has this awareness that it is being observed, and when it's observed, it changes. So just by virtue of you witnessing and viewing a particle, the particle has a reaction. And so just by putting you have so much power in your attention span. And by focusing and channeling all of that into one particular thing, be it a creative endeavor or a worksheet you're doing, or applying mascara to your eyelashes or whatever, putting all of your attention on that is powerful. It can help you complete it more excellently, perhaps complete it more efficiently, more quickly. It just seems like there's so much to that, versus having all your energy dispersed out into thinking about that person or what happened yesterday or what's going to happen in the future, which, as I'm sure you already know, the Buddhists always say that all we have now is the present moment. That is the only thing that exists like right now. So thinking about something that happened before or in the future, well, I personally am here to say that for me that's almost impossible not to do, because I think so much. When I train myself, and when we all practice like training ourselves to be like, okay, in this mode, like in at least this, maybe even one entire solid hour, all I'm going to do is what I'm doing. It creates this space, and it also helps you harness your energy and your focus into what you're doing. And then you get the added benefit of it giving you relief from thoughts that are unproductive and not helpful. That hamster wheel, that monkey mind, that going around and around and around, well, sometimes I do believe it helps me come up with a solution. What I found in my spiritual development, in my meditative practice, which I do every day, is that I tend to get more answers, especially now that I'm channeling. I ask my people that I'm channeling to give me the assistance. It comes through that way. Then if I'm like hashing and chewing something over and over again, and it's one of those thoughts that's just not productive. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, because I think most of us have these thoughts. It's a thing that just seems to happen, but we can control it and get definite relief from it and be more powerful and effective in the things that we do by practicing being present and practicing mindfulness. So I hope that was helpful, or at least somewhat interesting. And for more info on psychic development and personal and spiritual growth, check out krishanti.com. And I will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.